welcome back. On today's quick video, I wanted to go over a little software program that I use fairly frequently, and it's called Screen Calipers. And what this is good for is measuring items on your screen as opposed to using a set of calipers in a shop. So let's jump right in. This product is from a company called Iconico. Iconico.com is where you would get it, and it's simply called Screen Calipers. And once you download the program, you can download it to try before you buy. If you do decide to buy it, it's a $30 purchase, $29.50 US dollars, of course. And when you download it, it looks something like this. Now, it's a very, very simple program, but what I use it for is I'm looking at construction drawings a lot for different projects that I'm involved in. And sometimes I need to verify how long an item is on the screen. I can trust the construction drawings, but in the industry I'm in, they're not always accurate. And so this tool allows me to validate, not on an engineering level, but from a high level, if what I'm seeing is accurate. Something else that I'll use it for is measuring different pieces on properties. You can actually get involved in Google Earth. We've used it in applications where we can verify the height of one item, and we'll use this tool to verify the height of other items in correlation to one item. You've got to be very careful with that because perception and the way that images work on those type of applications are not accurate, but this is a very valuable tool. So let me show you how I use it. So I pulled down a set of construction drawings off the internet. This is very detailed it's very detailed, and it shows what you would expect to see on a set of construction drawings. So what I would do is I'd come into an application like this, and let's say I want to find out some of the members in this item. So I'm going to zoom in, and you'll see you've got a scale right down here. And it'll tell you that this length is 8 feet. You can assume that this length here is 4 feet because it's half of that, and if you want to go out here, that's 16 feet. So if I'm looking at the walls here and I want to say, okay, what's accurate, or what I've actually done before in one application was look at what the furnishings would need to look like, and I was able to furnish a room on an engineering level to see if all the furniture that I wanted to put in that room would fit. And we were doing this for a remote property. Once we were able to order all the items and get them in there, it actually worked very, very well, very accurately. So here's how you can do things to verify the measurements. With this item, I will bring it down and I'll line it up on the furthest pieces. And it has little screen keys, so right here I'm using my arrow keys, moving it back and forth. And then I'm going to move the right side over, and I'm going to go with the furthest distance because that'll give the lowest margin for error. If I come up here and hold over the 16.51, because that doesn't mean anything right now, I can look at what the units are, and in this particular case you can see that we've got different types of units that we can use: pixels, inches, centimeters, and I'm going to use this in a very simple form. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set it for pixels, and then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to calibrate the units. What that does is bring up a screen like this that hopefully you can see. I can't really zoom in on it too well, but I can come into custom. And what I can do here is I can put in the number of pixels, and this is the number of pixels because that's what I set it at. It's 192. And then I can set what I want the length to be. Now, in this application, the 192 pixels equals 16 feet, so I'll set that at 16. Hit OK, and you can see this resets this to a custom setting of 16 feet. So now what I can do is don't change the scale, of course, in this drawing, but I can move this up, and I can, let's say I want to measure this room to see what the length is. I can come in, I can set this right on the wall there, and actually I'll set it on the inside wall. And then I'm going to hold the shift button and drag this with my mouse to the other wall, and then I can use the keyboard arrows to fine tune it. And I get a measurement of this room of 25.33. Now let's say I wanted to come in and say, well, I've got a couch that I want to put in here. Let's say we're an interior designer and we want to use a high level, or say you're setting up a short-term rental property and want to see if you can get 2 king beds in there. Well, what we can do is put something in there. We could say, well, a king bed is going to be, and I don't know the exact dimensions off the top of my head, so let's just say 8 feet. Yeah, here, let's go. Let's drop that down. Let's go 8 feet. We'll get as close as we can. So we'll drop this down, move the item over. So we'll take that, we'll make that 8 feet. And then if we want to do, let's just say we're going to do a piece of furniture that's 8 feet by 8 feet. That will make it a little bit simpler. So we'll come in here, we'll say, okay, we're going to make this 8 feet also. And if I have multiples of those, then I can just copy them and paste them. And then I can see, okay, well, I can get 3 of those in this room. Actually, I could get more of those in this room if I really wanted to. But this allows you to then measure the different items. I may be able to come over to this, and if I have a question about it, what is the actual square footage of this room, I could calculate this dimension, then turn it and calculate the other dimension, and find out if I have an accurate square footage count from a realtor, from a builder, from an architect, or whatever it might be. These are different ways that I've used this tool and been able to find out different dimensions, at least at a high level, not necessarily down to the inch, but I can verify if the dimensions appear to be accurate. I could verify if the sizing appears to be accurate. Sometimes you'll get measurements from people that'll take in a building from the outside walls, and I may want to see what the inside wall dimensions are, or I may want to see how long something is. If it's on a set of construction drawings. There's different ways you can scale this also. You can see, you can come over here, you can set 0 points, you can calculate inches, centimeters, points, picas, twips, and then the custom is the one that I use the most. I don't use most of the others. You can have it set to stay on top, which is how I have it set up right now. So regardless of where I click in this, it's not going to go behind it, it's not going to disappear from the screen, and that's how I was able to measure out these boxes you saw. Coming back into the options, it'll show the tooltips. So if I hover over something, for example, let's get out of that. If I hover over this, it should tell me what that is. Let me select it again. There we go. Change the base color bars. This one, of course, change the slider bars. It gives you the different options there, so you don't have to try to guess what those are. You can run it at startup, so it's always in your background. You can hide the splash screen. That was the screen. It's a screen that comes up and tells you who the manufacturer was, and etc. You can make it transparent, set angles, magnifiers. It also has things like sticky angles. I don't use those very often, but if I check that, let me make sure that took. Yeah. So if I check the sticky angles, what that means is as I'm rotating this around, it'll snap to certain angles. So like right there, it's snapped to that angle. If I come down to 180 degrees, it'll snap to that angle. The reason I don't use it is because sometimes the things I'm measuring are a little bit off camber, a little bit off angle, and if I have it set to the sticky angles, then I'm not able to be as exact or precise with what I'm doing. So I'm going to come in here and turn that back off. You can lock the angle that you're at so that it won't move, which is kind of a cool feature. That way, if you're moving around in your mouse, or if your mouse isn't very stable, it's not going to move there. The problem is, of course, then you have to come in and unlock that. If you want to do anything, that's fine. And you can lock the measurement so that once you have done something, you can move it around. So for example, when I had it over here at 8 feet, if I wanted it to stay at 8 feet, here it's not going to move. So that can be a very valuable tool also if you have one angle that you're measuring on multiple things. So that is how I use this product. There are probably a whole lot more features that I'm not even going over. You can see that you can do some skins on this. The newer versions have different skins that you can put in. I've seen some that allow you to extend these measurement pieces here out further, and that could be helpful if you're doing pieces that have really fine measurements or they're farther away, or you may not want to have the body of this get in the way. Those are all different things that you can do. The product is very helpful. It's something that I use fairly frequently, and in my case, it's worth the $29.99. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, please give us a like down below. If you'd like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And if you know someone who may benefit from this, please consider sharing. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.